Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch, or more specifically, just one more Ginault Ocean Rover video. Nobody really cares about my reviews of cheap Casios, but these ones are proving quite popular. This will be number 4. I'll keep going until people stop watching. I think I'm the only person doing regular on-the-wrist reviews. Now, there are an increasing number of reviews of this watch on YouTube. Unsurprisingly, as the manufacturer, Ginault, is, I believe, still giving 50% off this watch if you're prepared to do an online review. I think slightly less if you're prepared to do a written review. I've been watching a lot of them, pretty much everything as they come out. Technology Mafia, who I don't think is a watch guy, but he got one of these, does a nice review. ID Guy, who is, I believe is a South African engineer, has some interesting perspectives on this compared to his Steinhardt. And KG, another chap who compares it to a number of different watches, including the Rolex Submariner upon which it is based. And Bruce Williams has clearly got over his recent little speed bump and is back reviewing watches, including this one, so he does one as well. So to keep my own videos relevant, what I'm going to talk about today is the new strap. Clearly this is not an original strap, a movement update, and also how the watch and bracelet are holding up overall. I got this on the 14th of March. I'm doing the video on the 6th of May, and I've worn it every single day apart from one. So this is very much on the wrist. So let's get on to the strap. I bought this a couple of weeks ago now. It is a ColaReb Spoleto 20mm in rust brown. Now these ColaRebs come with a bit of a reputation, highly regarded, highly spoken of on forums and on YouTube. So I was really keen to get one of these onto this. I'm a fan of Hirsch straps. I've got a number of Ranger retros, but I thought this one with this super distressed finish would really suit the watch, and it does. I think it looks amazing on this. I think the rust brown colour splits the difference between the golden sand lume pips and hands and that rich black enamel dial and the lovely aluminium black on the bezel as well. I was a little bit worried that the tang buckle might be a little small when I saw it on the internet. It's got that R for ColaReb, Colaroma. I bought this one on eBay, but it came from Holborn's Fine Watches in the States, so it's been from Italy to America and now down to Sydney to me, so fairly well travelled. Looks great on the wrist as well. I've got a 7-inch wrist, and this one I think fits. I think the whole watch just fits beautifully. Makes it look really expensive, I think. The strap was about 70 Australian dollars, so what's that, about 40, 45 US, but I think well worth it. Looks like it'll last the course well. Already beginning to develop its own patina in addition to the artificial patina that it came with. But I think a really, really good choice for this watch. Suits the overall 70s aesthetic, I think, very, very nicely. The only problem is, once you take it off the glide lock, you realize how convenient that glide lock bracelet is. As you can see there, I'm somewhere between number 2 and number 3, so switching back and forth, but never really being comfortable with either of those. The glide lock, that's the great thing about it. You can constantly micro adjust this watch back and forth over the course of a day as your wrist expands and contracts. So I've had the glide lock off and on a couple of times. Quite easy to do, easier than I was expecting, to be honest. With a bracelet, sometimes they can be a little bit tricky. Surprised to find semi-hollow, semi-solid end links on this one, though it has been noted elsewhere. I was happy, however, to find these really nice, stout little pins. These are about the toughest that I've come across in any watch, and that bodes well for the future. It kind of breeds confidence that you're going to get a lot of wear out of the pins and the straps overall. So, on to the movement then. I've had a watch checker app running on this since the 15th of March. If you've watched my previous videos, these first couple of screens will look familiar to you. So from the 15th of March to the 24th of March, it was running at minus 7.5 a day overall. The kind of blip day at the 19th of March was when it was in the box in the cupboard, and it seems to be a recurring theme. It seems to lose more time when it's off the wrist than when it's on the wrist. I suspect it's nothing to do with movement. I suspect it's to do with temperature. There's probably about a 10 to 15 degree difference centigrade between wearing a watch on the wrist and having it in its box, and I think it just comes into its own a little better when it's when it's on the wrist. So the next screen, 24th of March to the 2nd of April, a really good period there, coming in at minus 3.4. Then 2nd to the 12th of April, minus 4.9. Again, very, very consistent. You see there, it's always minus. It's always within a very small margin. Now, onto the next screen, 12th to the 29th of April. And this is kind of what I'm envisaging doing with this watch. This is the pattern that I'm going to settle into, winding it forward by a minute, leaving it for 3 weeks until it falls behind a minute. That's kind of how I'm going to run this watch. To be honest, this is the first automatic that I've worn with any regularity. My daily wear watches have been quartz up to this point, so it hasn't really been an issue. So this is something that's relatively new to me. And the final one, 1st to the 6th of May, again coming in nicely at minus 4.9. So not quite within COSC parameters, but really very, very good. The movement is one of the great unknowns with this watch, or the great unknown with this watch. And if that's how it's performing, then I think we can be fairly confident that it's doing the job that it's supposed to be doing. So how's the overall condition? Well, the watch itself, a couple of little scuffs on the aluminium bezel, but then aluminium bezels do scratch up a little bit over time. The rest of the watch is looking good. Bracelet, yeah, not too bad. As noted here and elsewhere, the glide lock has a tendency to chew these links. This one here rubs against there, hence the little mark on that link. And I have called it out in previous videos. If you're moving this in and out, it's going to scuff up that end link as well. They'll need to sort that out, whether it's Ginault or the supplier that they buy these straps from. It's a bit of a miss there. It really shouldn't be doing that. And as I said, I don't think the Rolex movement will be doing that. But yeah, it's looking good. As I said, 2 months every day on the wrist, and it'll be going straight back on the glide lock as soon as I finish the review today. This is such a comfortable watch to wear on this bracelet. Really, really nice. So here we are, 8 weeks in, and how's things looking? I'm still utterly in love with this watch. I think it's just fantastic. Looks great. I've had compliments about it. Super comfortable and just an amazing watch for the price. It's kind of made me reframe, rethink and reanalyze where I was going with my watch collection. I bought a lot of watches last year. Most of them, to be honest, not wonderful, not things that I'll keep long term. I've sold about 10 of them since I got this in the last 2 months. Sold an Atlantic Seaport, I've sold a TAG F1, a Vostok, I've sold an Orient Bambino, and I sold a Hamilton Aviation Pilot Pioneer that I bought around this time last year. Really disappointed. Probably the closest in terms of price. The movement was good, but the watch itself was crap. Just the quality wasn't there. So the quality is astounding considering how much money you're paying or not paying for this. I'm looking to the future thinking, what on earth will I replace this with? Really, I think you're looking at the Oris Heritage range that I've mentioned before, Sin 104s, or even the Tudor Black Bay 36 to get a comparable build quality, style, and an overall wear for the money. Those watches, 2.5, 3.5, even 4,000 Australian dollars. This watch is that good. So I said it before, I'll say it again. If you're thinking about one of these, or if you're thinking about the Squally Heritage, or the Ocean One Vintage, or anything else that looks like a Rolex but isn't a Rolex, buy this one. Especially if you can get it at the 50% discount. I think they'll settle into about $800-900 US, and I think they're worth every one of those cents. Just a gorgeous watch. That's it for today. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Please like, please subscribe if you found this useful. Cheers.